from skilling to combat to just general quality of life, there are all things that we want to change about the game. But here are 10 things that I would like to change about the game if I had the opportunity. So first up, we have rune crafting, which is a very important thing to do on an Ironman especially, but very important if you wish to do the magic skill. Either buy them from the Grand Exchange from someone who has rune crafted, or rune craft yourself. And one thing that would be amazing is if you load a preset with rune pouches in it, it could auto fill the pouches. But if that is completely impossible, maybe something that may be more technically feasible would be if you right click on one of your pouches in your inventory and click fill, it would do the rest of them. That would be amazing. It would help out rune crafting so much, make it feel a lot smoother, bring it up to slightly more modern standards. Because I don't know about you guys, but I really don't like having to do each one individually. It is very annoying. And on the topic of rune crafting, my next suggestion would be to add those rune crafting spirits to more bosses and slayer mobs. I think Archglacier could be a fantastic place to put a lot of the elemental spirits, because you can make those into water runes if you want to. He's basically like an ice elemental dude, sort of. But yeah, just adding those on a lot more bosses and slayer mobs I think would be amazing, even if it is at the cost of even all of the runes on drop tables. I think that would actually be an overall positive change for everybody, because then you could make runes a lot faster and you could get the ones that you want every single time. Sounds pretty good. So this next one on my list has actually been on there for a while, but it's actually coming into game on Monday, so when you guys will be watching this video probably, and that is the kind of removal of the bladed dive ability and making it into just a generic dive instead, which actually will let you dive with dual wield well, I don't think it's dual, I think it's anything, of just different combat styles. So no longer will you need the double melee swap just to have a targeted surge. You can now do it with other weapons. That's going to be so useful at so many bosses, because movement is very key. Stuff like Virago, for example, great to move around in. And yeah, it's just going to be so nice not to have to switch to bladed diving mode. You can just keep on your regular weapons and then go wee. And that is going to be fantastic. So next on the list is to do with a recent update which has been amazing for me personally, and I'm sure many others as well, and that is the Ironman PVM update. That was super cool, came out of nowhere, but I'm so glad that it is here. It is so amazing. But one thing that is a little bit annoying, which I'd hope they'd followed up on by now, but they haven't, is the fact that, for example, Irons can cast Intercept on a main account, but main accounts cannot cast Intercept on Irons. And that's not the only thing that doesn't get shared either. I can share a Calgarian Demon Spec to a main, they can't share it to me. I can cast Prism of Salvation, and guess what? I can't even use it. This is the one that teleports you to the location, but it's really stupid. Stuff like so Intercept, Group Vengeance, Calgarian sharing, Ruby Aurora, that's a big one as well. Basically, I'm losing 3% damage by being an Iron Man because I can't benefit from the spell, and it's so frustrating. And I really hope that someone at Jagex is working on fixing these interactions. Because if anything, like it could be made like regular Iron Man stuff where you cannot intercept Iron Man until they've unlocked Intercept. So it could be a similar thing for all these spells as well, if people are scared of some like cheese strats or something. I don't know, I don't care about any of that, but some people do. But it would be really cool to be able to share, things, even Shield Dome as well. Can't share that with mains, like it's just, but yeah, that's what I would like to happen. It's just the buff sharing between mains and irons. It would be very nice. So next up here, we have something that is becoming more and more commonplace nowadays, and that is hybriding. And if you guys haven't tried it, it's honestly really fun. The only bad thing is death costs are a bit rough, but that's not what I'm trying to suggest here. What I would like to have, if it is at all possible, is making the ability to put multiple items on one action bar slot, just to save space, and also just press one button to be able to equip gear. So for example, I could put my entire vestment set on one action bar slot, press that button, and it switches my vestments for me. Like, that would be amazing. Then obviously I'd have another button with my tectonic on it. Because nowadays a lot of people macro that kind of stuff, so it's essentially the same thing. But I really would just kind of like a proper in-game solution for that, as hybriding does become more and more common. And another thing for PVM is something they've already done in the past to familiars, and that is extend the timer of familiars to 70 minutes, but I'd like them to do that to incense sticks as well, because currently incense sticks cap at 60 minutes, which generally means if you use your sticks before you do an hour of bossing, at some point during that hour your sticks are going to run out, so you've got to spend like just a little bit of time to like reapply them for better. It just kind of breaks the flow a little bit. So if they made incense sticks last for 70 minutes instead of 60, that would completely solve the problem. And then you'd only have to do the buffs between hours of bossing, which I think would be so much better. So my next suggestion is about Dino Rows, mostly the creation process, but I wouldn't mind the proc chance on the arrows or the consumption rate going down a little bit as well. It's currently 33%, wouldn't mind it being 20%. But what I would really like though is for this bit to be buffed, because this bit's really annoying. Basically, you go here, you get a full invent of dinosaurs, and they want to eat 3 different meals. All of them, they're all different. It could be, you know, there, and up there. It could be there, then down there, then up there. Like it's all over the place. It's really far away. Got to do it 3 times for every dinosaur. You do feed them like all in one go, like per one that you go to. But either way, I think that the 3 should be reduced to 2. It would, you know, speed things up quite nicely, make it a bit less horrendous. You'd get through more of these dinosaurs, and it would just be good. You know, this is probably the most frustrating part about making the arrows right now. So I think just reducing this from 3 to 2 instead of like buffing the output would be, you know, my nice idea, which I think would make the arrows, you know, a bit more feasible to use, especially if you are an account of the iron variety. So this next one, very simple, but I think it would be nice if binding contracts worked a little bit more like regular summoning pouches, where they make the whole inventory instantly. Because right now, like, you get a very small, it's only a few seconds long, but is this really necessary? You know, normal pouches, they're just instant for the whole invent. It would be cool if these were to, it would just make them a little bit less tedious to make. So yeah, I'd be a big fan of that. And then my second to last thing that I would like would be to have a slight change on Raxx's drop table, because when Raxx was released, the Spirit Weed Seed drop was actually really useful. There were not many places to get them, and this became, you know, a fairly decent place to obtain an amount of Spirit Seeds. But unfortunately, Arch Glacier came along, and after Arch Glacier, Spirit Weed Seeds, basically, they were raining down from the sky, so Spirit Weed Seeds are now worthless. And doing a boss that's as difficult as Raxx is, which, yeah, it's a mediumly high difficulty, and getting rewarded with about 6k worth of seeds, it's not optimal. It's not optimal. So I think they should replace the Spirit Weed Seeds with Arbuck Seeds, because those are like the Dinosaur Island seeds, and I think it would be cool to have them as a, you know, potential source from here in, you know, reasonably okay quantities, because currently they are 125k per seed, and for a herb that is so important, that feels like that costs a bit much. Like 40k, 50k maybe, you know, similar to bloodweed seeds, but it should not be 125k. So I think adding them to Raxx would be a very nice thing to do, and then our adrenaline renewal potions could be very happy. And then my last suggestion would be about the big Zimzam himself, because this boss is super cool. I really like this boss. Like, duo or trio is definitely the best team size, but it's just a bit of a shame that solo sucks. Like, there's not really any sugarcoating it. Like, compared to group, solo is pretty terrible. Partly due to the way some mechanics work in the fight, and partly just, well, it's mostly that, and I don't know, partly because it's just not very balanced for solo, it seems. So my suggestions to make solo balanced would be to halve the HP of the witch, the one that you fight in Infernus, because that does take a good long while in solo, much longer than in group anyway. And then you have the great HP on the boss, I think should be lowered in solo, because if you guys didn't know, there's a mechanic with this boss where if you hit the boss at the same time as he heals from his great HP heals, it'll actually cancel out the heal. So that's why having one person tank the boss and then one or two people do the witch in group is a really good thing to do, because you can really stop a lot of his healing. But unfortunately in solo, you don't have anybody outside to hit the boss, so you just kind of get shafted, and it doesn't feel very, very fair. I also think the demons are too healthy in solo, which again I think would be solved by halving the HP. And then after that we have phase 7, which I know is a trouble point for a lot of people. And P7 is fine in group, like duo or trio, nothing wrong there. But solo is a little bit unfair. So the half demon HP would help out a lot for the initial demon, because I know that's a contention point for a lot of people. And then after that, I think the edicts, the crystals in P7 should be changed, so they are now like 12.5k HP multiplied by team size. And then instead of having one crystal per team member, or for some reason in solo you have to do 2, I think it would be good if all team sizes had to do 2, but instead, obviously, the higher team sizes, the crystals would have more HP. I think that would just be a lot fairer. Like solo could have 12.5k HP crystals instead of 25k, because 25k is a little bit much. It really is. But yeah, that's how I would rebalance Zamorak ever so slightly. There are also a couple of bugs I wouldn't mind being fixed with Zamorak, like the pad bug especially. I don't know if you guys have ever had it, where you kill the witch, you go onto the pad, and then nothing happens. It's really fun. You've got to exit the pad, then go back on it again. A very frustrating bug, especially when you're trying to go fast, because it just feels like just RNG whether it happens or not. It's a bit of a shame. But other than that, yeah, that is the 10 suggestions that I have for RS. At least one of them is definitely happening, which will happen on Monday the 5th, which is super cool. But yeah, if you guys like my ideas, let me know. And maybe there are some JMods watching that can take some inspiration. Who knows? But thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.